chapter 3 is a sweet little gem in the midst of a bigger gem, this book of James. He gives you this intro by saying, "Behold, we put bits in the horses' mouths that they may obey us, and we turn about their whole body." So I don't know what most horses weigh, somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 pounds, depending on their size. And he's saying, you can take this little teeny tiny bit, put it in their mouth, and with the bridle, you can move this entire horse, whatever direction you wanted to move, with that little teeny bit. Verse 4, ships, they're turned about with a very small helm. So these huge ships, and with a very small rudder or helm, you can determine the direction. Oh, and by the way, that only works if the ship's moving. The bridle, the bit, it only steers you and takes you on a path if the horse is moving, if it's acting, if it's moving forward. The trick here is to make sure that the Lord has the reins or the helm of the ship and is steering the ship that is our life.
So then James gives the insight here. He connects it to our own lives. Verse 5, even so the tongue is a little member and boasteth great things. Behold, how great a matter a little fire kindleth. And in my own life, I think I struggle a lot with this one. I think I should spend more time listening to James and putting a bridle in my mouth.
It's fascinating that this is one of those lessons that some of us, speaking for myself, have to learn over and over and over again. Probably never once in my life has there been a time when I've said something in anger or in frustration or pent up. You feel getting hot under the collar. There's probably never been once that 10 minutes, one day, 5 days later, I've said to myself, oh, good job. I'm glad I said that. That was perfect. That was exactly what needed to be said. In, I believe, every single case, I have felt the need to go and apologize and to repent and say, I'm so sorry. There's always a better way to say things than in the heat of the moment. And for me, the essence of this is embodied in President Russell Nelson's talk from April 2023 General Conference, Peacemakers Needed. The way he talks about the way we communicate with people. The other wonderful talk for you to consider is The Tongue of Angels, given by Jeffrey R. Holland many years ago in General Conference, where he addresses James chapter 3 in incredible detail and beautiful principles for us to follow.
So you can look then at verses 1 through 12, and it really focuses on the wisdom of how to manage your tongue.
So now, if you want a little contrast here, he gives you verse 14, 15, and 16 as the bad example of what happens when you just say what you want to say, do what you want to do, live your life, cut off from God's laws, pretty much, just doing whatever the natural man or natural woman dictates. And he says, verse 16, for where envying and strife is, there is confusion and every evil work.
I think about our modern day today. Have you ever seen confusion in the media, in social media, in your personal interactions with people? And is it because many of us are talking before we know what we're talking about? Now, as good humans, we feel strongly and passionately about things. And the invitation here is to make sure we're grounded in what's true, real, lovely, godly before we speak. And like Tyler, the times in my life where I've had regrets, I've had to go back to people and say, I approached that wrong. I communicated unfairly or inappropriately. It's because I speak without having full knowledge. And I think the invitation here is, let's make sure we really know what the truth is before we let our mouths go on what we think is going on in the world, so that we don't contribute to the confusion and the mayhem and the evil speaking that's going on in the world. It's just, most of it's unnecessary. I should say all of it's unnecessary.
All of it. And if you look, he gives you the ideal in verse 17 and 18. But the wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, and easy to be entreated, full of mercy and good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy. And the fruit of righteousness is sown in the peace of them that make peace. Once again, President Wilson's talk, peacemakers needed. And our world desperately needs them.